Welcome to video, this will be number 15 in the How It's Made series that we're doing. We had to take a little pause on these videos because we were waiting for materials to come in. We are still waiting on some of the wire to finish the grip, but we do have some time to work on the pommel. If you've been following our series, the last two videos we did were on the types of blades that we do, but we're getting back to the How It's Made. And on video 14, the last one for this series, we talked about how, because we don't have the materials to finish the grip yet, we're going to bypass it and go on to the pommel. So that's what we're going to do now. So, real quick, it would be easy. We start off with our nice chunk here, and you'd think it'd be easy, and it would be, to just put this in a lathe, chuck it up in a lathe, spin it, and then do your edge or do your face bevels on the lathe. Yeah, that'd be the easy way to go. However, we avoid doing that because it just looks machined. Plus, a lathe will do the bevel the same all the way around. Now, on this particular pommel, for the historical version, the bevel is not the same all the way around the pommel. So it's a very shallow bevel at the top, so the top of the piece will be a bit wider, and then the bottom of the piece, the bevel is a bit steeper. So it's hard to see, very subtle in those. So we drew the lines there. So we marked out our lines for our center piece that's going to be flat. And then these lines here, you can't really tell because it's so subtle, but they do taper as they get to the bottom. It'll probably look a little more clear when we actually do the grinding. So what we're going to do now is actually hand grind in the bevels, and that'll give us something that's looks different than machined, and it won't be uniform across the whole face. So, trusty grind hat on, keep the dust out of my face and my hair. And so what we do a little different, you'd think we would grind it in a circular pattern, and we will, but to start with, I actually grind it vertically all around. Create facets first because it's just easier and faster to grind that way, and then I go and round it off afterwards. So let's get started. Gets hot quick. So hopefully, see if I can get the lighting right. So yeah, you can see that. So that's the first of the chamfers I'm going to put in. So I'm going to do that on the flip side now, and then on the other two sides, creating 4 chamfers. And then I'm going to go at each of the high points, so that would be 8 chamfers, and then 10, and eventually it's enough that I can smooth it out and around. So there's the 4 chamfers. I think you can see that. So now, oh, can you see that? So now it's all smoothed and rounded out. And notice we left some space around the line there because it's still a rough grind. So when we go to finer grits, we're going to get closer and closer to our center Sharpie line there. Alright, she's all done up now. Smoothed out on both sides. The center of the circle is not perfectly circle. Again, we don't want it to look machined, so it's not perfect, just like the original. It's not an exact circle. Now that the pommel is done, though, we get to do some fun stuff, and that's testing the dynamics of the blade, and that's kind of the engineering behind the blade. Apologies for the lighting, by the way. It's dark out, and I know this lighting is horrible. But so for the dynamics of the blade, first thing we're going to check, get this roughly on, is the hilt node. So basically, what we want to, if you can see that there, when the hilt vibrates or when the blade vibrates, that hilt node wants to be right where near the guard, where my thumb and first finger is, and it looks like we got that right. That's to make sure when you hit something and your hand doesn't get shocked. The other node of vibration is down, should be roughly 2/3 down the blade-ish, and that's your optimal cutting point, and we got that right, or close to right. And I'll tell you why I said that in a second. And then the other thing we check is what we call the rotation of the blade. This is a little harder to check. But basically, for a longsword, when I'm rotating my blade here, I want the tip to remain roughly the same. I don't know if you can see that. So when I'm moving my hands, the blade tip stays roughly the same. So I don't know if you can see it this way, maybe. So it looks like I'm in the 2 to 3 inches or 2 to 4 inches near the tip, which is good. And the reason for that is for long swords, when you're going from your different positions, basically you're keeping your tip in the same spot. So it looks like we got that roughly right. And again, the reason why I'm saying roughly is, so for the next video, we're going to focus on the grip, do the leather and the wire wrap, and that does add a little bit of weight, so I'm going to go back and recheck those dynamics that we just looked at. For right now, they're in a good shape. I'm probably going to take some more weight out of the pommel, and I might even take some weight out of the blade, so we'll see. But thanks again for joining us. Hope you're enjoying, and we'll see you next time.